Oh, you're muted.
There you go. Hey, I like this new camera angle.
Is it different?
Well, I
Is it?
used to, no, the angle's not different, but I used to have to come all the way over here to be in the center. And now I'm
Oh,
like
I see.
sitting like a normal person. I asked Aaron, I said, Aaron, I've been dealing with this quietly in pain for a year. Can you help me?
It's funny.
Good
Sweet. All
morning,
right.
everyone. How's everyone
Morning.
doing today?
Good. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good
Morning.
morning. Kelsey, I heard you got your first appointment ever. Is that true?
I did, yes.
Did they no show you?
No, we meet on Friday.
Oh,
He
so they
works
still have
two
time to.
jobs.
I'm just kidding.
I hope not.
I'm
He's
joking. I'm
doing
joking.
Atlanta, getting approved. We're working on it.
Can't call yourself a realtor until you've been stood up, hung up on, no showed. But
Well, we're putting it
congratulations.
in reverse and that he shows up.
He's going to show up. It's going to be great. Actually, you know what? You set an appointment last Friday for next Friday, right? This Friday?
Yeah. Yep.
That's actually what we're going to talk about today, Brent. And I know we have a module today, so we're not going to do our typical jump into gratitude and all that. I think we just need to dive right in, don't we, Brent?
I think we should, otherwise we'll run out of time because this is there's a lot of information packed into this. And just so you guys know, let me give you the outline for the week. If you haven't seen it, the outline for the week is from set to sold, the buyer process. So today we're talking about the anchor process, which we'll dive really deep into that and give you guys some ideas on what anchoring looks like and how to leverage that. So Kelsey, for your first appointment, this will be a huge to increase the odds of a show up. And then tomorrow we're going to talk about consultations that convert. And then Wednesday, from search to selection. So getting people to set up realistic searches, showing them only homes they want to see, and then getting them to commit to putting an offer in. And then how to negotiate like a pro is Thursday. And then Friday, we're going to wrap it all up with creating future sellers and raving fans. So the full set to sold buyer process this week. And so speaking of, the anchor process, Chase. Why? So like talking about, Kelsey set an appointment on Friday and she set it for next Friday. Let's walk through um, why anchoring is so important and why having a process built, especially if there's going to be a week that goes by.
Yeah.
What could happen?
Well, just for clarity, if you're a listing agent or you want to be a listing agent, you don't want to deal with buyers, this still applies to you. So this is very, very, very much applicable. Now, so you have a conversation with someone. Let's just talk real life. What happens? So Kelsey got her first appointment, which is phenomenal because she's only been an agent for a few days. So congratulations. You set that appointment. Let's just say you set it with John, and John is wanting to meet with you a week from today. Um, that's 7 days, Brent. And realistically, as human beings, we're on average, we talk to roughly 10 people a day. And there's not much to talk about, right? I mean, you guys have all who here loves small talk? And small talk's the same thing every time, like weather, kids, allergies is one right now if you live in the Idaho area. Brent and I were talking about that this morning.
Were you small
Uh,
talking me?
no, you were small talking me. So no, we were talking about that this morning for a little bit, but you talk about things like that, and then every now and then there's these bigger things that you talk about. So let's say Kelsey set an appointment with me, Chase, a week goes by, I talk to 10 people a day. I'm like, Brent, oh my God, dude, the allergies are crazy and finally dying down. Oh, hey, dude, I'm actually going to be selling my house.
Oh,
So that's
interesting.
probably, let's just say that comes up in half the conversation. So that's 5 times a day, right? When I tell Brent I'm selling my house or I'm thinking about selling my house, what do you think happens?
You're gonna
They
talk
ask
to
probably, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize you were asking Brent directly.
No,
There
I don't think he was. I just don't know when to shut up.
It's okay. I don't know when to shut up either. They're gonna know a realtor. They're gonna be excited and they're gonna be like, "Do you
Yeah.
know my realtor?" Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm thinking about selling my house, and Brent's gonna be like, "Oh, I have the best agent. It's Lacey Bishop," which is, arguably that could be accurate.
Very accurate.
So he references Lacey. Well, if I have 7 days go by and I have 5 conversations per day, and let's just say only half of those people reference a realtor when I bring it up. Okay. That's still 7 times 2. That's 14 agents. And even if you say, oh, only half of those actually materialized, right? And they were brave enough to mention an agent, or only half of them knew an agent. I'm just telling you guys, the longer the time frame between when you set the appointment to when you meet them, the more likely they are to get other recommendations. So that's why we have the anchoring process. And that's essentially what we're going to break down. So I'm going to kind of go high level. We're going to manufacture touches. We're going to have authority building communication. We're going to send video text when appropriate. We're going to make sure expectation setting is proper. And then we're going to be proactive on follow-up. So let's talk about manufacturing a touch. What does that even mean, Brent? Like what's a manufactured touch?
Well, we put the word manufactured in front of it because it's by design, right? So the goal as a real estate agent is to find ways to bring value, and you have to manufacture those. So a couple of things to take note of. Number one, the better you know the person and their goals and their motivations, the better you can manufacture a touch. Now, you can still manufacture a touch for someone you don't know anything about, but the better you know what their situation is, and I would say if you're setting an appointment, you better freaking know what's going on with them and what their motivation is and what's driving the desire to want to move. Then you can create manufactured touches. So what that might look like for a buyer is, hey, I know you said you wanted to be on in this particular school zone and you wanted to be below this price point. I found a property that hasn't hit the market yet, or that's off market, or that just hit the market, fill in the blank. Give me a call when you get this. And it just gives you an opportunity to have another conversation with them. And the reason why having these conversations with people is, has anybody ever had an issue or had a problem, and you call customer service and someone answers and you explain your whole problem? And then they say, yeah, let me get you with the right department. And they put you on hold and the other person answers and you have to re-explain your whole problem. Anybody ever have that happen?
Yes. Every
Okay.
time you call. Because the first person's like, well, tell me what's going on.
So the goal with these connections and conversations are to continue to get them to invest back into the relationship you're establishing. You want them to invest in you just as much as you're investing in them. When they invest their time and energy into answering questions and inspecting the process alongside you, they're more likely to choose you to show up.
Let's just kind of break that down real quick. Let's go back to Kelsey, 7 days. So option one, do what most agents do, set the appointment and then hope they show up 7 days from now. So you had 10 minutes on the phone. So they have a 10-minute relationship with you. And they have those conversations with those other people and they get whatever, 5 to 15 different realtor recommendations. And, your 10-minute conversation, it's going to be hard for them to defend that they're working with you specifically, right? But if every day there was another, purposeful touch that deepened your relationship, it'd be easier and easier for them to be like, oh no, I really am good working with Brent. Like, he's great. He's been awesome. We're just going to stick with him. So you just gave one about like, a new property. Like, here's another one. Let's say someone's moving to a new area and you're like, hey, I just put a list of the best places to grab coffee in case you want to go check them out before we meet. And now, they're like, oh, this is great. and because what are they're moving to an area, they're probably excited about moving to the area. If you give them a reason to go check it out before you get there, they're going to be appreciative of you doing that. Another potential anchor conversation could be a question, right? And ideally, some of this you can handle all on one call, depending on how the call's going with your client. But you might get into a scenario where you don't get through every one of these questions of BAMA, for example. So are they the buyer? Do they have an agent? What's their motivation? How are they paying for it, the money? And then closing for the appointment. Well, the money side, maybe you can have your lender do a pre-qual with them over the phone before you meet. And now you have a reason to, you can be like, hey, I'm going to get with my lender. I'm going to have them call you. You call your lender. You ask your lender when they can call them. Instead of just connecting them directly, you might be like, hey, my lender can call you this afternoon at 1. Does that work? You're deepening your relationship with them through that process. Now the lender calls at 1. Now what do? We call them later that day. How'd it go? Even though you probably already talked to the lender. A lot of you would just say, oh, I talked to the lender. I know how it went. What if you followed up and asked the client, like, hey, how'd it go? So you're anchoring and just think depth. So, and that comes through time, and it comes through, I think, the amount, right? The frequency that you're communicating with them.
Yeah, another way to think about it is, first of all, like I kind of want to pump the brakes and just stand on a soapbox here. The difference between top producing agents and average agents is top producing agents systematize things. They figure out what works, or they identify what's not working and they figure out what they need to change in order to make it work. So that's what we're doing here. We're talking through a system or a process. But the thing you have to think about with this anchoring process is when you're already doing something, so you're already going to connect them with a lender. You're already talking to the lender about what happened and are they approved, are they not? You're already doing that. All we're suggesting is that you insert the conversation with the client in between all of those. Even though the client talked to the lender and the lender said, hey, yeah, they're good to go. Everything's great, whatever. Or, hey, this is going to be a great deal for them. Like they qualify, no problem. A average agent is going to take the lender for what they at their word for what they said, and they're just going to wait for the client to show up for the appointment. The top producing agent is going to call the client right there on the spot. I should be saying customer. We haven't signed them yet. They're going to call them right on the spot and say, hey, how did it go today with the lender? Great. Is there any questions you have for me? Okay, here's the next step of the process. Tomorrow you're going to hear from me. I'm going to send you X. And you set that continued follow-up and get them to continue to invest in the relationship.
Yeah, think like concierge, right? If you go to like a really nice restaurant, there's, the manager might come check in on you multiple times. How's it going? Can I get you anything? Those nice little extra touches, it just makes you feel that much more special, right? I think another shifting gears here, Brent, it's still the same thing, but it's a little bit more specific. What is authority building communication?
Well, so here's the thing. Here's the difference between a manufactured touch and an authority pack or an authority touch. An authority touch is a systematic approach that is the same every single time, where a manufactured touch is based on what you know about them. It's based on your intimate knowledge of that particular person. You're going to manufacture specific touches with them throughout the process. The authority pack is, hey, this is exactly what I do. Every time I set a buyer appointment, I do this exact thing and I send these exact things. So here's an example. Let me give you guys an example of what it would look like. And by the way, if you don't have this, I would strongly encourage you to commit to putting something together. Something is better than nothing. Putting something together that, hey, every time I have a buyer appointment, I do these 4 things. So here's an example. I set a buyer appointment. I then tell them, because I know my process, the next thing you're going to get from me is an email, and it's going to have this information in it. After I send the email, I'll follow up to make sure you got it. Does that make sense? The email will have your buyer guide. So that's just everything they would need to know about working with you. What does it look like to work with you? That's the whole point of a buyer guide. Not, hey, let me educate you on the buyer process. That's great, but you want to actually show them what it's like to work with you, the process of your working with buyers. Then you want to include reviews or testimonials. You now want to give social proof that you are the person that they should be choosing. So when they're getting recommendations from their friends, they're like, oh man, like so many people recommend my agent. They're amazing. You want to continue to solidify the relationship through evidence. And then what to expect. So the email would have those three things: a buyer guide, what it's like working with you, reviews and testimonials, and then what to expect next. And then that is how you deliver on the promise, where you basically are showing you know what next is next, and then you show up and you do exactly what you said you were going to do. That is, I mean, go ahead.
Would you say that'd be one email with all that, or would you do multiple touches?
I personally would do that all in one email. But if you, let's put it this way. I think it depends on how long the timeline is. If you set an appointment, you have a month, you might want to break it up. But most appointments, if it's with a motivated buyer and they have a 30 to 90-day timeline, you should be setting those for as tight a timeline as possible. You should be setting them within a day, 2 days, a week at most. But I understand that sometimes you have to set them out 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. But I would send it all in one, personally.
Yeah.
Now, I think the point is you can do it any way you want.
Well, and another one you didn't mention, but it could be appropriate depending on the client, is maybe a relocation guide, right? You have something, if someone's coming in from out of state, you could give them a, hey, review this before we get together. You said, I don't think you said it was a bad thing. I think you said it was okay, but because you're talking about like, what's my process? But I think you could share the buyer process too. I think that'd be fair. What I like about what you said, and I don't want anyone to miss it, is when you send this email, now you have a chance to be like, hey, I'm going to do this. So look for an email. Then you do it. And these are subconscious things where you are showing them like, hey, you're telling them I do stuff, and then you actually do it. And people like to see people following through with that. And then, of course, you have another touch where you get to call them or text them and say, hey, did you get the email? Do you have any questions? Anything else I can do for you? Are you still good for our time? Blah, 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 blah. So, how's that sounding so far? I see some people taking notes, see some people nodding.
I think it's great. I just have an additional thought. What if it's a lead that you have that you're in conversation with, you haven't got to the appointment yet. So like you're leading there, but they're not ready. Like for example, the last conversation I had was, is it okay if I follow up again in 2 weeks? And oh yeah, we can do that. By then I'll have talked to my significant other, and then we'll let you know. I guess just I mean, you gave some great ideas for what sounded like if you maybe already set the appointment and you're waiting. So any ideas for that kind of person? Touch points?
Yeah, I think a couple things come to mind. So just for clarity, this whole week, we're assuming you've set the appointment and we're going all the way to sold. That's why we're talking about what we're talking about. Now, I think that is a great point and a great question, is like, how do I continue to drive value and build the relationship with someone who's maybe not ready yet? This reminds me of the open house game, Brent. I think a lot of agents have all the answers and they give them all the answers. And then the client is like, I don't need you anymore. I think that's a very common experience. So I think if you can find a way that you can hold value to get to them at a later date, maybe about a property, like Brent mentioned earlier, maybe you can have them meet you to go over the off-market properties. Maybe you can go get an answer for them that they don't have. Like it's kind of like rapport. Like, how do you build rapport? Well, you look for ways that you can, you know, build rapport, right? You can connect with them, something you both know or someone you both know, some sort of shared experience. You have to look for those moments. It's the same exact thing. You have to look for moments, Brent, where you can go get an answer for them. Like, i.e., the client's like, yeah, I really just got to see if there's people hiring for my husband's work. Most agents are like, okay, cool, I'll check back and see how that's going. And the great agents will be like, where's your husband want to work? What does he do? And then you can follow up with like, hey, I found these two companies are hiring that. You see where it's like an opportunity for you to go get an answer for them that's valuable.
Yeah, and the only other thing, Bree, that I would say based on what you said is you set the future appointment. We never leave a phone call without setting a future appointment, and that sometimes it's just a future appointment to follow up. The only thing I would shift, and maybe you did it this way and you said it different on the video, but or on the call, is you said, is it okay if I follow up with you in 2 weeks? I would personally never ask for permission. I would just say, hey, when are you going to talk to your significant other? Oh, I'm going to talk to them next week. Okay, great. I'm going to follow up with you on this date. And then they're like, oh, no, that doesn't work. Okay, well, I'll follow up with you. Then you say, great. When will that be? And they give you a day or time or in 3 weeks. Okay, great. So if I haven't heard from you in 3 weeks, I'm going to follow up with you after that. Is that okay? Then just move forward.
Okay, let's go to video text, Brent. So
yeah, this one's
you're talking like TikTok dances and stuff to get people's attention, right?
Yeah. So you have to first of all hire a private editor. No, I'm kidding. You guys, seriously, the more raw, the better. The whole point of a video text message is to put a face to a name and humanize yourself. So this works prior to set, but it also works after you've set and you're working to get to the point of meeting them. Sending a video text to them, same thing that you would do if you were sending them a regular text or if you were calling them with information. It's the same thing. Hey, so-and-so, just wanted to tell you I'm excited to meet with you in 3 days. By the way, I have something I think you're going to love. If you could give me a call before the appointment, I'll share it with you and then we'll connect or whatever. Doesn't matter what your message is. What matters is that you're doing it via a video text. Does everybody know how to do a video text? Just selfie mode, record, and then send it via text. That's it. It's that simple. And that right there will shift your show up rate dramatically, putting a face to the name, especially if you've never met him before.
Yeah, I think it's powerful, and I was obviously joking about doing a dance. The whole point is like I don't want you to seem scripted, and I don't want you to over analyze this, right? It's going to be one person seeing it. This should be like 15 to 30 seconds maximum. Very simple. You could be out and about. Hey, I just got done previewing property. I'm really looking forward to our appointment on Friday. If you guys have any questions between now and then, don't hesitate. You can call or text me, whatever works out. Otherwise, I'll see you Friday. Thanks. Like it's that simple. You don't have to overdo it. We're looking for ways that we can deepen the relationship and add value. And I think them seeing who you are and that you're a real person. I think say their name, Brent, Angie. I'm super excited to see you guys like say their names. Then they know it's real and legit. And yeah. So any other? I guess we have expectation setting.
Yeah.
So do you mind if I talk about this, Brent, for a little bit?
Please. Yep.
So since we're talking about buyer, we're going to talk about the buyer consultation. And this is my favorite way to set expectations. And it's also my favorite way to close for the buyer appointment too, by the way. It's, has anyone offered to do a buyer consultation for you? They're going to say no. Or let's just say it's a natural close. You're talking to them. Everything's going well. Hey, it sounds like we should meet. When's a good time that we can spend a half hour in my office? and we can do a buyer consultation. A lot of times they'll say, what is that? Or like, oh, I don't really know, whatever. Look, there's 3 things that we're going to accomplish during that meeting. Number 1, we're going to answer all the questions you have, even the ones you don't know to ask. Now that's critical. You say it just like that. Why? Why is it critical you say that? Because the objection might be like, I don't have any questions. But if you say even the ones you don't know to ask, they can't be like, well, I know which one, like they're just going to be like, okay, that makes sense. The second thing is we're going to set up a custom search. And that way you can see exactly what's on the market that meets your criteria, and we'll cross-reference that against the off-market properties. Why do we say that? Because they already have Zillow, they already have XYZ agent's website. They don't need to set up a custom search. They've already done that on their own. But what they haven't done is cross-referenced it with the off-market properties.
Hold on.
So
I hear people thinking right now, I don't have any off-market properties.
yeah. So what is that? Off-market properties could be upcoming listings that you have, could be upcoming listings that your brokerage has. It could simply be as easy as taking their criteria, and instead of looking at active homes, you look at expireds and canceled for the last 6 months, 12 months, whatever. And oh, by the way, that could get you a double-ended deal. No big deal, right? And then the last one is that we're going to make sure that you and I are a good fit to work with one another. Now, Brent, I've done this scripting live in front of large audiences, and usually I script with an agent, and the agent's like, well, I don't want to sign paperwork. That's like their objection when I say that. And notice how I didn't say, and then we'll sign paperwork. I said, we'll see if we're a fit to work with one another. But most agents have this fear that if they do anything that suggests they're signing paperwork, they're going to get an objection from someone that doesn't want to sign. And I'm telling you guys, like, I've never got that ever. I've never got that on the phone ever. So I think I could see how someone might get that on the phone if they're not approaching it the right way. But that's not a common objection. It's not even a thing, actually. So those 3 things: answer all the questions you have, even the ones you don't know to ask. We're going to set up a custom search so you can see everything on the market that meets your criteria, and we'll even cross-reference against the off-market. And then lastly, we'll make sure that you and I are a good fit to work with one another.
So what I'm hearing you say, Chase, is the anchoring process actually starts before they say yes to the appointment, because you have, if you don't set the expectations on what the appointment is,
you gotta have the value.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, Why am I going to come meet with you at your office? I'd rather just meet you at the house you're going to show me.
Well, here's the reality or the truth behind appointments. A lot of appointments. Now, everybody's business is a little bit different, right? So Kyle, you probably, all your appointments probably show up, Kyle. But the reality is some people will say yes to an appointment just to get off the phone with you. And so having proper expectation settings before the commitment to the appointment increases the odds that you're getting someone to say yes, not say yes to get off the phone.
When I was in new construction, Brent, people would sign contracts to get away from me and then cancel them later.
David, go ahead.
So if there's an order to this, expectation setting would be like first, essentially.
Correct. Yeah.
It'd be part of the close for the appointment, in my opinion. And then, of course, we'll talk about tomorrow's all going to be all about the consult. So I'll walk you through from start to finish what that consult looks like, which is going to be thorough setting of expectations. But you want to make sure that they feel like the meeting with you is going to have value before they ever agree to it. Because then it's harder for them to not show up to it, right?
All right, we've got a minute left, so let's do 1 or 2 takeaways. What'd you guys hear?
Video message, it just seems like, it sounds scary to me. But like I love leaving voice messages, and in my head it just kind of clicked. It was like it's like going straight to voicemail, but with a video.
David, if I lined up 10 real estate agents right now and I asked them, do you send a video text? All 10 would say no. So if you want to set yourself apart, send a video text. It is the easiest way to set yourself apart, besides having a full-blown process and an authority pack and manufacturer touches like that. If the only thing you did was start sending video texts, you would convert more business. What else?
Hey Brent, it's Parisa.
Hi, Parisa.
So I really like the anchoring and authority building communication. It really put things together that anchoring, manufacturing ways to give them value by understanding their needs, that can happen even before you set the appointment.
Yes.
So I think I'm going to be focusing on that this week.
Yeah, I think, we bring up manufacturer touches in multiple stages of relationship building. We talk about manufacturer touches, with an opportunity that isn't ready for an appointment. We're still always trying to find reasons to get them to feel invested into the relationship with us by manufacturing a touch. It just becomes significantly more important once you've set the appointment to increase the odds of them showing up. If you've never met them and they're not a really, really warm pass off lead, or contact. If it's someone who was referred to you, but it was, a distant referral, like, you have to find a way to establish a relationship. Manufactured touches is the way to do it. So that's a great takeaway. Sweet.
All right. So tomorrow we're going to be deep diving in the actual consultation itself. So we'll see you in the morning. Have an amazing week, guys.
See you guys tomorrow.